Today we're making Roadrunner's desert sunset painting. We're going to go ahead and get started by placing our papers straight across our table and making sure that we start with our 3 fingers on the left side. I'm going to go ahead and set them at the bottom and create a small dot right about there. I'm going to copy this process to the opposite side, and then we're going to meet them in the middle. We're going to go ahead and start a wave as we go across our paper. We don't want to make them too big, just like this should be fine. Now we're going to take the middle of the paper and create a dot right on that line. This should split the paper right in half. The next thing we're going to do is look at the bottom of our paper and put about 3 fingers down and measure a dot on that side. We're going to repeat the process to the right side and create a space about 3 fingers and draw a dot. What we want to do is connect these 3 dots and make a triangle. I'll start at the top and then connect it to the bottom. You could use a ruler or a straight edge, but I'm going to go ahead and try my best to make it as straight as possible. We're going to do the same thing with the right side, connect the top dot to the bottom dot, just like that. This triangle is supposed to be our road, and we are going to add the dashes that go in the middle of the road to keep the right side away from the left side. Go ahead and make a rectangle at the very top, and it's going to be a very skinny rectangle, and we're going to go ahead and do that all the way to the bottom. The closer we get to the bottom, the longer the rectangles are going to be. The reason we're doing this is to create the illusion of distance. The closer you are to the bottom of the paper, the bigger the road is, and the farther away you get into the paper, the farther away the dashes become. Now we're going to make our sun for the sunset. At the very top of the road, I'm going to go ahead and use my hand to measure the width of the sun. You're going to be trying to draw a semicircle, and this is going to help guide you to make the circle go all the way around. Now we're going to move on to adding some details. We're going to start off by making a cactus, and we're going to use the oval shape to make this cactus. We're going to go ahead and give our cactus some branches or some arms by using a J shape. You're going to start where the middle of the cactus is and make a backwards J, and then connect it with another ovular shape. It should look something like that, and we're going to go ahead and repeat that process to the opposite side. We're going to make it smaller and a little bit higher on our cactus. We're going to go ahead and take our eraser and erase those middle lines so that our cactus looks connected. We're also going to erase the horizon in the background so that it doesn't look like it's cutting our cactus in half. I'm going to go ahead and take that cactus and repeat the same process, but much smaller on the right side. I want to make this cactus smaller so that it looks like it's in the distance. Remember, the closer you are to the bottom of the paper, the bigger the road and the items are, and the farther away, the much smaller it's going to look. I'm going to go ahead and add some lines underneath our cactus to show how it is inside the ground. I will also add some in the distance and add some rocks as details. I will repeat the same process to our bigger cactus on the left side. Now it's time to add the hills in the background. We're going to go ahead and get started from the bottom of our sun and make some bigger curves that meet to the top of the paper. Repeat that same process on the left side, but make sure to not cross over your cactus. We don't want to cut its arm off. Go through behind it and repeat on both sides. Now we go ahead and take a Sharpie and we're going to trace over all of the lines starting with the road. Once you're finished, you can go ahead and add small details like the thorns on the cactuses. Once you're finished tracing, take an eraser and erase all of the pencil lines. You want to make sure you erase all of them so that when you paint, it becomes a lot cleaner and nicer. Finally, it's time to paint. I'll start with yellow and color in my sun. I'm going to take a little bit of the water and place it into my paint so that it becomes a very strong color. I don't want to water it down too much. Next, I'm going to take that same color and I'm going to mix it with our orange to create a very light yellowish orange. I will use this color to paint outwards outside of my sun, as if the sun is shining out into the sunset. Next, I will add less yellow and a little bit more of my orange and repeat that process. As I go around the yellow, it's going to become a little bit darker with our orange color. The farther I get away from my paper, the more orange and the less yellow I want to use. Once I get to the very edge, I will start to mix the orange with the red to create a darker color on the edges. Finally, our sunset is finished and we can move on to painting our cactuses green. I will be using green on both of them. It's going to be a lighter color. You can make it as dark as you'd like. Next, I'm going to be painting my road. I will be using black, but I will be adding more water to make it a lighter tone. Go ahead and paint around the rectangles and leave those white. Next, I'm going to use brown to color our mountains, but we're going to use a very light watered down color to not make them too dark. For our last color, we will be using orange, and we will mix a tiny bit of brown into it to create a darker and a dirtier look to the ground. And that is all for today's art piece. I hope you enjoyed painting this Roadrunner's desert sunset, and I can't wait to add our Roadrunner and our snake in the background.